everybody. I'm Hillary Atkin from the Atkin Report, and I'm absolutely thrilled to welcome Danny Pino from Dear Evan Hansen to this edition of Hillary's Happy Hour. Danny, how are you doing today?
I'm well, Hillary Atkin. How are you?
I am good, and one of the reasons I got to see Dear Evan Hansen on the big screen before it opened, absolutely loved it. Your performance is spectacular, and just knowing that the filmmakers created that role, they changed it from what it was on Broadway to make it Larry Mora instead of Larry Murphy. So Danny, how did that come about for you?
Well, Hillary, it's a great question. What started off being a scheduled a 20-minute meeting between a Zoom meeting, because this was all during the pandemic, between myself, Stephen Chbosky, our director, and Stephen Levinson, our writer, ended up being a 2-hour Zoom meeting where we discussed who Larry could be, and perhaps making him unexpected to the audience, and a way to maybe tell a story of the non-traditional American family, where you have a stepfather who in the storytelling makes it perhaps more complex and gives a mirror image to the way that Evan enters the family, in that Lorenzo Mora, Larry, my Larry, comes into the family as a stepfather when Cynthia's first husband tragically passes, and becomes a stepfather to the children. In much the same way that Evan, when Connor tragically commits suicide, he fills or tries to fill, that space in the family, not only to help ease their pain, but also for him, to feel like he has a place and he would feel valued. So I think that was attractive to the storytelling.
Well, your character is part of so many key scenes in the film. So what I'd like to do now is take a look at some of them that are highlighted in the trailer.
Connor wanted you to have this. Dear Evan Hansen, he wrote it to you.
His last words, Connor took his own life.
What?
I'm sorry, Connor didn't write this.
No, please.
But we didn't think Connor had any friends.
I mean, you really gonna tell these people that the only thing they have left of their son was a letter that you wrote to yourself?
So, you and Connor, tell us something, please, Evan.
Right. I started talking, but just couldn't stop. They didn't want me to stop.
I'm putting together a memorial service. If you wanted to do something.
Connor showed me that I wasn't alone. Nobody is. I wish we could have given that to him.
People started sharing it. It's everywhere.
I don't understand what happened.
You did.
It's like I never made a sound. Will I ever make a sound?
Danny, what were the emotions like in your scenes with Ben Platt playing Evan, especially the father and son baseball scene, which was so incredible, and also his confession?
Well, let me just say that Ben Platt is, not only is he an amazing person as a human being, but his talent is pretty exceptional. Take after take, to watch him play Evan Hansen so fully and so committed. He showed so much courage in his performance and his vulnerability that I think it elevates the entire film and everybody's performance, frankly. But in that scene between myself and Evan with the baseball glove, on stage, there's a song between Evan and Larry to break in a glove. And early on in the development of the film, the creators had cut that song and had placed this scene in its place. So I learned the song, even though I knew I wasn't going to sing it, because I felt like it could inform that particular scene. What's interesting to me is that the song is really about doing things the right way and sticking things through, right? And sticking the landing and being diligent and purposeful. Whereas I think that scene that replaces the song in the film is really about the regret of not having had the time, the connection of what playing catch means symbolically. And playing catch is an opportunity to connect. Playing catch is communal between, father and son, to check in and, to focus on this one ball, but perhaps have an opportunity to really have another maybe deeper conversation. And I think that's what that scene becomes in the film.
Well, speaking about the family unit, let's talk about your co-stars who are your family members, Amy Adams and Kaitlyn Dever, and singing live with them.
Again, two incredible performers, two incredible artists. Kaitlyn Dever and Amy Adams, they both sing incredibly well. They're very strong singers. But what I think is almost more impressive than their ability, their talent for singing, is how they're able to drop into the character and not make that song performative, make it more internal, to pay the price emotionally, where you carry on from the book, from the script, and the song begins, and it's almost like you're halfway through the song before the audience even is aware that we're singing, because it does follow through with that emotional arc of the script. But working with both of them and rehearsing the song, I remember the first time we sang it together, because it was COVID, it continues to be COVID times, but we were at the height of the pandemic then, and we hadn't rehearsed together at all. So when we finally got into that rehearsal room, and to hear Kaitlyn start the song, to start Requiem, and hear her amazing voice, and how she was already so connected to the character. And then, Larry comes in and starts to sing. And then Amy Adams starts to bring Cynthia to life. And then once the harmony starts to pick up, it was this buoyant, kind of magical experience to finally be in the same room together, three characters grieving apart, but in harmony.
It was one of the most incredible parts of the film, which I, again, absolutely love. But I also want to shift gears to another incredible character you play, and that is Miguel Galindo on Mayans MC. You have a huge fan base there. And the season 3 finale left Miguel kind of a cliffhanger, but I'd love to hear you talk about playing his character, the elements of it you enjoy the most, and maybe even a little bit of a teaser of what's ahead for him.
Well, first of all, thank you for bringing up Mayans MC, and thank you for bringing up Miguel Galindo, and especially thank you for bringing up our fans, because they're amazing, and they're so connected to the show, and just like them, all of us in the cast are, super excited about season 4. In terms of where Miguel is now, season 3 was a punch in the gut for him, with the loss of his mother, and him, grieving that loss, and attempting to live life without maybe his biggest advocate. So we'll see about season 4. There's not much more I can tease from that. I think we saw a lot of, when we're talking about fight or flight, we saw a lot of flight in Miguel in season 3. He just wasn't ready to, to stand up the way, he'd done in the past. I felt like his foundation had been pulled out from under him. So we'll see what happens in season 4.
I cannot wait. So, but meanwhile, Danny, everyone can see you on the big screen in Dear Evan Hansen. It's an incredible film. I want to wish you all the best with it as we wrap up our happy hour. Cheers to you and to Dear Evan Hansen.
Hillary, thank you for your interest. Thank you for your invitation. Thank you for your hospitality. Clink, clink.
Clink.